Welcome everyone, Network Programmability Stream Part 34. This is Dmitry and we are ready to go. So today we are going to talk about streaming telemetry and we will start labbing it, understanding how it works. I think that we will have more than one stream about this. I don't believe we will be able to get everything up and running today. So this is one thing. Another thing is, just to be clear, unlike many other topics, this is a topic which I barely know, and so I know almost nothing about streaming telemetry implementation itself. So I do know what streaming telemetry is, why it's useful, stuff like this, but I have never tried to configure it on my own. I have never written some code to establish a session and then to pull up to get this telemetry and then export it to something like elk stack. I have never done it before in my life, so this is literally will be the first time ever I am trying to make streaming telemetry work. So I don't think we will get anywhere today to like some concrete result that yeah, it's working, we have these graphs and so on. So probably this will not happen today. So probably this is also the reason why I haven't covered it for so long. I mean, we are already streaming for a year, and this topic was always on my list like since I started, but probably because I have no knowledge about it, this is the reason why I put it off for so long. But we just can't continue putting this off and we should cover it, and the best way to learn is actually do it live in front of many people, fail a couple of times and then swear a couple of times like I usually do on streams about Ansible, and then at some point we actually will get it working. So yeah, before if you are watching a recording of the stream, okay, the time code is always under the video in the description. So if you don't like some sections or whatever, you can always go to the description and click on the timestamp for specific section that you like. And the reason I'm saying this is I always start my stream is talking about things that happen to me, or some news or something like this. And I do also know that some people watching this on the recording may not find it useful. So if you don't like this, just go to the video description and click on the timestamp, so it will take you to the actual start of today's topic. Okay, so yeah, let's actually start talking about stuff that happened to me, or some other things that I would like to share with you folks today. And you see that the list on the right is actually pretty big today. So yeah, it will take probably 20 or 30 minutes to cover it. So one thing is I will start with the thing that is probably the most embarrassing on this list, and this is something that I am not proud of. This is something that yeah, it's just the thing that I'm not proud of, but I do feel it's important to address it in public, both for the people who look up to me or consuming my content, as well as for myself, so that I always have a reminder that I am not always doing the right thing. So I put here impact before brand, and this is the thing that my manager Andre Loren is always mentioning. Almost in every conversation with the team, he's mentioning that impact should come before brand. So what this really means is that you should focus on what you're doing and the values that you are bringing, instead of trying to get recognized for the things that you did. And I usually do follow it, and yeah, I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing, and on doing the right thing, you know. And but sometimes I forget. Sometimes I think, yeah, sometimes it's not so easy. So yeah, let me tell you some background and you will understand. So last week on the stream, and then later I wrote a Twitter post and LinkedIn post about the let me pull it up. Yeah, about the me getting the distinguished speaker pin from Cisco Live. And don't get me wrong, I actually think that's fine to share some kind of achievements or recognition like this on social media. I think it's fine. I mean, if this is what you got, I think it's totally fine to share it with people on social media. But there was one catch. So I didn't give the credit to the person who really deserved the credit for this, and I think the excuse that I told myself was, well, this person isn't really active on Twitter, or something like this. But this is what I was like telling myself. I think the real reason was that I wanted to get some spotlight or some recognition, instead of doing the right thing, which would be in this case giving the credit that giving the credit to the right person. Let's put it this way. So yeah, so I will tell you a little bit more background. So for this session that I got the distinguished speaker, it was me and my friend. His name is Wojciech, and him and I, we developed the product, well, the things that we were showcasing, and I was doing also I think I did majority of the PowerPoint for that, but the actual speaker was him for the session. I was there. I was helping him out on the workshop to helping the students, and also helping with asking with the questions that came. But he was the main speaker for this session, and well, apparently the session got the highest score, so we both were awarded with the Distinguished Speaker Award. But as you can probably now understand, I was not the one who I think actually deserved it, because I was not actually speaking in this session. So and yeah, and I basically didn't mention him on my Twitter post or LinkedIn post. So afterwards I felt embarrassed that I screwed up like this. So the reason why I'm mentioning this on the stream is, as I told, so to share with people that I am as human as I'm also human with some flaws, and sometimes I also screw up and don't do the right thing. And also a reminder for myself when I will feel that I am doing everything correctly. This would be a good reminder for me that sometimes you screw up too. Sometimes you should re-evaluate what you're doing and how. So I changed the LinkedIn post a little bit to make sure that he gets the credit, and I also added another post here on the Twitter, because you can't edit tweets, but I still feel like I kind of screw up. So yeah, so let me see, there are a couple of comments in the chat. Is it hard to learn programming or ethical hacking? So I do believe that learning programming is actually hard. I do believe that learning programming is hard, and you really need a very solid motivation to get to the right level of expertise. Live stream format is really hard for that. Don't build yourself up. I don't see what is that bad. Well, yeah, I think in this case I kind of disagree. I mean, yeah, I think it's still fine to share this kind of news, but I should have made sure that I give the credit to the right person. And if I did it from the beginning, then I wouldn't even bring this up on the stream. You would know better. Yeah, I guess in the future I will try to make sure that something like this doesn't happen. Okay, so yeah, I don't think my friend Wojtek is watching my streams, but if you do, I am sorry for letting you down and for not doing the right thing. Okay, another thing that I wanted to share with you that kind of is a derivative of this topic is also I noticed this for a long time, but it kind of bothers me that the content is usually getting less reaction than your achievements. So for example, this post got 9 retweets and 90 likes, and on LinkedIn around 200 likes and around 20 comments or so. None of the things that I share which actually contain the content, I don't know, like the streaming recording or some blog post or something like this, or some link to code or whatever, none of that ever gets as many reactions as posts saying how cool I am. Let's put it this way. So, and it kind of bothers me. I also was sharing this thought with Daniel Deep. He was recently sharing that he passed the AWS certification, which I think is awesome. I think it's great. But it was also very similar, where he got so many likes on all of the social media. But I think it's more important the content that he writes, and I do believe that Daniel has a lot of great, awesome content, and I share a lot of his opinions. But that stuff doesn't get so much recognition and so much like, and it kind of saddens me. I don't think there is much you can do, but yeah, this is just what is happening. Yeah, I don't know why, but I guess it's just easier to give a like to some achievement rather than reviewing the content that person did. But it would be great if it would be vice versa. So another thing is last Sunday it was my birthday, and exactly on my birthday we reached 1K subscribers on YouTube. So thank you very much for your support, folks. I really appreciate you coming to my streams, coming to my watching the recordings, leaving the comment, reaching out to me on social media, reaching out to me via email, sharing some of your ideas, some of your projects. I really do appreciate it. I think it's important milestone. Even though I don't think my streams themselves are very popular, but I do appreciate support, regardless of how many subscriptions and viewers we actually have on the live stream. So thank you very much. Really appreciate your support. Now another thing that I wanted to share with you is that I finally finished NPDESI and NPDEF network programmability courses that can be used for CCIE research. So my CCIE is in suspended state for already 6 months, and I finally finished these courses. So probably next week, after the team reviews my submission for getting the continuing education credits, I will be able to recertify. I am so happy about this that I should not worry about recertifying for another 1.5 years. That's a very good feeling. So another thing is I submitted 2 sessions for DevNet Create. So DevNet Create is the annual conference organized by Cisco DevNet. It's mainly focused on developers, so it's basically an event specifically organized by DevNet around all of the programmability topics and programming and that kind of stuff. So I submitted 2 sessions. So one of them is Nornir workshop, which is going to be 90-minute Nornir workshop, and also I submitted a talk which is 45 minutes talking about the lab automation. This is a project that I partially covered on my stream. We had like some things that I showed to you, but this is actually a real project that I am leading inside Cisco Sales. So I have similar session at Cisco Live Barcelona, and I submitted very similar thing for DevNet Create. I'm not sure if they are going to be accepted. We'll see in a month or so, or whatever. I don't know when they actually review it. So, but I do hope that I will get accepted, and then we'll go to San Jose. And yeah, if you are going to attend DevNet Create, I will be happy to talk to you. Okay, another thing that came up yesterday. So, and I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. And Gian, if you are watching this stream, please don't hate me. So let me bring this up. So there was this post by Gian. Sorry if I don't pronounce your name correctly. I'm sorry. So applying PPR on 100 access routers using Ansible. So yeah, and there was Hank and Kirk asking like technical details, like how much time it took and stuff like that, and John replied that it took 10 minutes and it was 100% CPU utilization. And I just couldn't resist, and so I left this comment saying that 2 minutes for 10 devices is actually not great. Just to clarify, I am not attacking here the person. I am attacking the tool, like I usually do. I do believe that any automation that you do is awesome. Any kind of improvement over what you had before is awesome. But the point of this, comment is basically attacking the tool, and which is Ansible in this case. As a developer, I don't think this is very efficient. Some configuration on 100 devices takes 10 minutes. I actually think from software development perspective, it's not acceptable for the tool. So I can guarantee you that if either Python or let's say Nornir would be used, it would take less than a minute, or maybe just a little bit more than a minute, but I believe it will be less than a minute. The reason why I bring this up is, as always, I don't think Ansible is a great tool for network automation. I think it's very slow and not very efficient, and something like this just kind of proves my point even more, I think. So yeah, if you're looking for something fast, you probably should not look at Ansible. But again, when I say you, I don't mean the Gian or anyone else. I'm meaning collective industry And as I told, at the any kind of automation that you're doing, regardless of the tool, if it makes things better, I am fully supportive of you doing that, and you're doing a great job by improving the process. Yeah, but this doesn't stop me from disliking the tool. Okay, next thing that I wanted to share with you is source node mockup. So I stumbled upon this on Twitter, and I actually found it super cool. So what this does is this. Basically, it's working on Mac, and basically you can copy anything, do Command C 2 times, it will say copy to source node, and then when you bring the snippet is saved for you automatically. I found it super useful, and especially for like when you're submitting some form, I don't know, some case, some email, sometimes that fails and you lose your stuff. And usually what I do, I bring up like a Visual Studio Code or something, and I copy text over there. But I do believe this is better way to do it. So yeah, I'm thinking about buying this. I think it costs what, $3 or $4, but I found this tool very useful in my workflows. Okay, another thing that I wanted to share with you, and I kind of didn't really think about this before, but I should have. Oh, and there's questions in the chat. So this is just a super clipboard. Yeah, it's kind of nice. Yeah, it says everything to this kind of notes. So another thing that I wanted to share with you folks is what I will call today tip of the day. I didn't give it a thought before, but just before the stream I was upgrading one of my routers to the latest software version, and you know, when you want to upgrade a router or something, you need to get the image on the device, right? And for ages we have been using tools like FTP or TFTP or whatever, and it really depends. If you already have a FTP server, it's fine. If you don't, you have to remember how to bring it up, or well, even if you have, you still need to take the files that you have, let's say image that you downloaded, and then put it on FTP server or something like this. And I was thinking like there must be a better way, and instantly I realized that, well, why don't I bring up HTTP server directly on my machine and do that? So this is what I did. So I found two ways to bring this up, and I will actually show it to you right now. Mainly, maybe this will be useful for you. So let me go to our network programmability stream project. So I will not copy the image right now. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It takes a lot of time. So there are two ways. So either using the Python built-in server or using Nginx, which you can also use in Docker, which will be more performant. It will give you more performance if this is what you're looking for. So very easy way would be to, well, you go to your folder and say python3 http.server. And I think they start on the port, port 8000. So then I go to one of my routers, and then I can say, well, I have to first get my IP address. Give me 1 second. I will actually have to bring up the new window. Or maybe show history will show me? No. Yes. Okay, so yeah, the reason why I don't want to do it on my primary screen so that I don't show you folks the IPv6 public address. This would be not the best way to start my stream. So my IP address is from 10.0.0.0/8 range. So in this case, let's say I will be copying the file setup CFG, for example. So I would say copy HTTP IP address 8000 setup CFG boot flash setup CFG. And you see that I was able to get the file, and now I should be able to say boot flash setup CFG. And here I have this file. So if you want to have like production grade server, then use Docker and Nginx. So you could use just this command. It basically is the result is going to be the same. So I found it super useful to transfer an image to the box, not worrying about FTP and all that stuff. So yeah, tip of the day for you folks. Articles. So I have read a couple of interesting articles that I want to share with you. So one of them is by Heineck, who is quite famous in the Python community. So he wrote Python Application Dependency Management in 2018, which is this, and it describes actually, the timing is very good because it's kind of his thoughts on the tools that we covered on the last stream, which are requirements.txt, pip tools, poetry, and pipenv. So those are his opinions on that, which I found very good. I found this article very good written, so I do recommend it for you folks. Now another one was 5 myths about pipenv, which was released around on the same day, I think, on Medium. So this is kind of like why you shouldn't use pipenv for something. Yeah, why you shouldn't use pipenv, or things that are misconceptions about the pipenv. So I found this article. It's actually very small, but I liked it as well. And the last piece, I actually think this one is very good. This one is super solid. So it's continuous integration with Python on the realpython.com. So, and it's not super small, but this is like, if you have no idea what CI means and you want to actually understand how to apply it on, let's say, Python program, just take a look at this and read it through. So basically it's talking about like a little bit about Git and the breaking changes and how testing helps you with that, and how to make sure that those tests are run automatically whenever you submit your code, and staging environment and dev and prod and all that stuff. And they actually have a working demo example that they walk you like step by step, which I found very useful. So if you have no idea what is CI, please take a look on this article. I do believe this article is great. Okay, now the last thing that I wanted to show with you is there will be no stream next week. I am going to Madrid on next Sunday, so probably we will not do stream. And also it's very likely that we will not have stream afterwards too, so like 2 weeks in a row, mainly because week after that I am participating in one Russian podcast, so it will be a little bit too much for me to do on the weekend. So probably I don't want to put a lot of things on my list for that week. So most likely we will not have stream next week and week after that, but you will always find the latest updates on the Twitter. Whenever, I always announce my streams in advance. Okay, that's all from news stuff. Let's actually jump into today's topic. We spent exactly 30 minutes, but that's fine. I think I well, I talked about everything that I wanted to talk about on about the things that I wanted to share with you. So we are good, and let's actually jump into today's topic, which is streaming telemetry. So a couple of things. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Stuart Clark, who sent me a bunch of resources about streaming telemetry just before the stream. I really appreciate your help, Stuart. Thank you very much. You have been always a great friend, and I'm proud to know you. So if you are watching this stream live or recording, kudos to you, man. And I will see you very soon at Cisco Live. So as I told you, I don't know a lot about streaming telemetry. Well, I know the basics, I know the idea, I know why would you want to use that. I haven't tried doing anything on CLI or something like that. I haven't set up streaming telemetry myself, and this is usually the point where I say, okay, I understand this topic at some level now, I feel confident about that, so I can move on to something else. So this is not the case with streaming telemetry. I haven't tried it before, so today is going to be probably, we'll be trying to do as much as possible, but it may also happen that we will not get to the working result, which from my perspective is absolutely fine. So let's talk about what streaming telemetry is and why would you want to use this. So the idea behind streaming telemetry is to get some statistics from your network device in almost real time with less overhead as possible, and that this data would be structured, so you don't do show commands every minute or something like this. You actually you subscribe to some device statistics, let's say interface statistics. You subscribe to that, you let the device know, oh, I would like to get the interface statistics, or I would like to know whenever my BGP neighborship goes down. So you subscribe to that, and then device sends you this data either periodically or on change. So in case of interface statistics, maybe you would want to receive it every 10 seconds. In case of the BGP neighborship going up or down, you may require to know about this on change. Okay. Another piece is that you get this data as structured data based on the Young models, so you don't really need to do parsing or stuff like that. You would get the proper value using the XPath or the just referring to the proper nested objects inside your dictionary, whatever that is. And another thing that you can do with this, since you are getting it in almost real time, you could actually set up handlers to react upon specific events. So you could say, oh, okay, if BGP neighborship for this device goes down, I would like to run this script or something like this. Okay, so you could actually make, using streaming telemetry, you could actually make an intelligent system that help you manage your network real time. So maybe, let's say if excuse me, folks. So maybe if you receive some statistic, maybe some access list is hit, or I don't know what, or maybe some route, you could actually change something in your network without manual intervention. So for example, you could change routing or something like this. So streaming telemetry is, I think it's a key for the next step in it's a key for the evolution of network automation in general, and to the whole, let's actually build proper automation that not only does configuration management but also can react to events. So yeah, those are my thoughts. That I think streaming telemetry is one of the things we still haven't, as a industry, we still haven't explored it to the full extent. We still haven't understood all capabilities, that all things that we can do with this yet. But I think it's going to change within the next years, and it will gain more and more popularity, and more customers will start demanding more and more data to be able to stream from the box. So yeah, this is basically the idea where you not ask the device every 10 seconds, oh, give me this data. You actually ask once. You're saying how often or what are the conditions for you to receive this data, like every 10 seconds or on change, and then device just sends to you this data through the connection that has been already open. Yeah, and we partially were doing that with SNMP. The NMS systems were doing it for some time, but it was still pull model where you would, every minute or so you would run SNMP walk on things. Most of the time is you have this OID which mean nothing, yeah, it's just not very efficient way to pull up statistics from the device, even though this is the most common way to do it. There's a question in the chat. Is streaming telemetry an open or proprietary protocol? That's an interesting question. So in general, it's open. In general, the protocols are open. So there are two main protocols. So one of them is using NETCONF itself, which is standard, and another one is using gRPC, which was developed by Google, but I'm actually not sure if it's open standard or not. I actually think it is, but I am not 100% confident. So in general, yes, it's an open protocol, but remember that you need to have support on the YANK model level. So just because the device has this support of this specific protocol doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean a lot, because what you actually need to do, you need to have support for the specific YANK model for the subscription, and those are usually either openconfig or proprietary. So so it's not so simple. So probably like on different devices you would need to set up the different keys for your streaming telemetry subscription. I think streaming telemetry is a concept with different implementations. Yes, so streaming telemetry is, yes, just the concept. There are a number of protocols that allow you to do that. At least two of them that I know would be NETCONF, and another one would be gRPC. So you don't have a server polling, you have a subscription, like you have a sub to Dmitry, but he updates you. Yeah, absolutely, Carlos, you're correct. So you subscribe, and then you get alerts when my stream starts, or in this case you would get alerts where you get the data when the data either changes or periodically. It's like syslog 2.0. Actually, I kind of disagree. They are close, but they are not similar. The concept of syslog is similar to telemetry. Is another thing that you get from the device, but in this case, the when you're talking about syslog, you get some alert which is kind of like text. Let's put it this way, okay? when we are talking about the when we are talking about streaming telemetry, you actually get some kind of specific counters that you were subscribed to. So you can get counters for your access list, you can get counters for your number of connections, you can get counters for your interface statistics, you can get counters for your memory statistics. So this is like instead of an actual text, you get counters, which are described by the model. Feels like SNMP traps. Yes, it's kind of like SNMP traps, except of more advanced and more structured. It can be very granular, but probably all this in the new Young model, so it's standardized. So yes, it could be very granular, and it all depends on the Young model. So it really is up to the vendors what kind of models they implement. So there are some openconfig models that they're having telemetry there, but there are also vendor-based models, and usually vendor-based models have broader coverage than openconfig. So on this stream, I really hope we will be able to use the vendor model and maybe change it a little bit at some point and pull some data that is not available in other models. So yeah. So this is a concept of streaming telemetry. Yeah, as I said, I think it's a very important step for the network automation systems of the nearest future. And yeah, it's the right time to learn it, folks. Okay, so let's actually get started with doing some stuff. And now I will walk you through some of the links that I have here open. So actually, let me go ahead and close a couple of things here that we no longer need. So one of the links is this, which is developer Cisco.com NetDevOps Live. So those were videos, is basically webinars about different NetDevOps topics. I think they have either the last one. They will have the last one. Oh, they already had the last one. Okay. For this season. And they have a lot of interesting topics. So one of the topics was last week, which was, of course, streaming telemetry, the value of real-time analytics for the network, and presented by my friend and colleague Stuart. You can click here and see presentation slides, which I think we are going to actually open today. There are some links to docs, there are learning labs, there is DevNet Sandbox. So DevNet Sandbox, are basically a labs that you can reserve, and they have a guides, so you can go through the lab. So actually my idea was to go through the streaming telemetry lab on the DevNet today. So it's already open here on the another tab. So I already made the reservation and should be up. Excuse me, it should be up and running. So check this out, check this webinar out. So those are slides. I don't think we are going to go through slides today. This is not the purpose of the stream. Now, so we will have this sandbox, and this sandbox refers to the instructions which are on GitHub, which are here. So you'll take this environment and we will try to go through this guide to set something up. So those are these 4 links. Now there are a couple of other things. So there are two programmability configuration guides. So one for 16.6 IOS-XE and one for 16.10 IOS-XE. So on IOS-XE, the streaming telemetry support appeared, I think, in 16.5 or something on IOS-XE, but that was called dial in. So there are 2 types. There is dial in and dial out. So dial in is when you establish the session from your from your client. So you say you have like some kind of script which you start, and it sends a netconf to the device. It says, oh, I'm subscribing to this data, this and this. You have a netconf session open, and then every period of time you actually get this data back on the session. So then you as a client, you should go ahead, take this data and put it on the system where you're collecting this data. So usually people use Kafka, which is kind of like a message bus, and then this data, the consumer of this data would be an actual elk stack, which is what Kibana, Logstash, and I forgot what is E in elk stack. And so those are consumers of the data, and you know, they can help you visualize the data. So this is how it would be done in dial-in scenario. In dial-out, it's a little bit different. You actually do some kind of CLI config on the device saying, oh, I want to subscribe to this data and to this data, and here is the IP address of collector, and here is the port. So go ahead and send this data to this collector every X amount of time or on change. So this is what is called dial-out. So the biggest difference is that, well, probably you will need to write less code for dial-out. You can just do CLI config, or you can config this using netconf itself, but it will be persistent to the box. Compared to your script, where your subscription will be active for the duration of the session. So the second you have some problem with communication and session goes down, the device stops sending the data to the through this session. So, and it also doesn't persist across your reboots. So you would need to be able to handle this on the client side. So dial-out subscription on IOS-XE appeared in 16.10, which was released, but not for the all platforms yet. So there is no 16.10 for CSR yet. So we will probably not be able to cover that today, but maybe on some stream in the future. Elastic. Yeah, I think so. I think it's Elasticsearch, but we can actually go ahead and check. So elk stack, Logstash, Kibana, and Elasticsearch. Logstash, Kibana, Elasticsearch. Beats, I haven't heard about Beats before. Yeah. Okay, I actually don't know. I mean, I heard about elk stack, but I have never worked with elk stack before. I guess Logstash is for collecting logs. I think Kibana is for visualizing the data, and I do not know what Elasticsearch does. So, but whatever, we'll check it out. I hope there is some Docker image that we can use. Okay, so those are two links to the IOS-XE programmability guide that you may find useful. Now there is another thing which is on the DevNet page. There is streaming telemetry quick start guide for every platform. So I opened for IOS-XE, and you know, it's kind of like a slides button on the web page, for, you know, explaining what it does, what is subscription. There are some code snippets which we may find useful. I don't know yet. So yeah, there's quick start guide here, and there are two other things that I found. So there is this YouTube video showing you the demo on the Catalyst 9K, and it lasts only 5 minutes and kind of like explains the building blocks and stuff like that. Actually, I really like this diagram, so we can actually kind of like walk through this. So you have your switch, you have your ietf client, which is basically your script which will establish the netconf session to the device. So establish the session, and on the session you say, I would like to get a subscription. So then this device, the switch, starts sending this data to your client, then your client should be able to process this data, send it to Kafka bus, and then from this Kafka bus it may get to consumers of this data like Kibana, for example, where your data will be stored and visualized. So yeah, we can. I'm not sure if you folks want to see this demo. You know, me just showing a YouTube video. I was thinking it may be useful, but it also kind of a waste of time. It could be a waste of time, wasting the stream time for me showing the video of another person trying the demo. So probably we will not cover it, but I like the demo in general. So check this out. And so I also found that there was, I think this demo was shown at Cisco IOS 2017, and I found the starting code for that. And until I found that DevNet lab, I was actually thinking that I would use this code and try to get it up and running. So I think this video is actually showing using all of these, but yeah, I think only use it as a reference to check it out. Yeah, probably this makes sense. So yeah, you see there are a bunch of links to go through. I will not go through everything, but I felt it's probably a lot of people are in the same boat as I am. They heard about it, but they do not know how to get started with this. So I tried to find as many useful resources as possible to get started on OS-XE in this case. Mainly because I personally don't work with Nexuses and XRs, so I kind of not so interested about that. But I know for XR they actually have even better guides. So there is this guy, XR docs. Is it GitHub IO? Oh, it's XR docs IO. The blog about all things about XR, and he actually has the a bunch of stuff about telemetry. Yeah, if you search, there are like so many posts about this. Dial in or dial out, configuring MDT with YDK, with openconfig yank. So many stuff for XR, but yeah, since I don't deal with XR a lot, we will not cover this today. Does telemetry, Praveen is asking in the chat, does telemetry work with NETCONF, or does it also use NetFlow to collect data? Well, it depends on what kind of telemetry you're talking about. So in general, the NetFlow itself could be considered as telemetry as well. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't call NetFlow telemetry too. I think it's telemetry. I think it's you know, you're getting the data about your flows. So from my perspective, it's telemetry too. That said, it's not model-driven telemetry, so it doesn't really use Yank models to send you some counters from the device. Does telemetry work with NetConf? Yes, it works either with NetConf or with gRPC. But you could probably access sFlow, NetFlow via NetConf format. I am not sure. I have never seen that before. I think the main reason why that NetFlow has been around for ages, and you know, we already have a tooling for NetFlow, so I don't think there is a lot of interest to get NetFlow data in Yank. But yeah, it could change. Maybe I'm wrong here. I haven't seen any NetFlow data in Yank models so far. Okay, so folks, today we will try walking through this DevNet lab, which by the way is free resource for everyone. So you can go ahead to a DevNet Sandbox Cisco.com. Let's actually go ahead and do that. So you go here and you find the streaming telemetry lab. Well, I don't see the oh, here. So streaming telemetry. So you do this, you get the lab pop-up, you click reserve, it's free for everyone. No, you just need Cisco account, you don't need anything else. So this, I think it's a good starting point for this. So we will be going through this lab today. Okay, so I actually will need to NEConnect, so give me a second here. Damn. I will NEConnect to this lab. Okay, I am NEConnected to this lab now. So let's go ahead and start working with this. I think, well, first we have to check if our devices are reachable. So if we ping 10, 10, 20, 30, we can do that. 20, 40. We can do that, and well, we actually need only one. Then 20, 35. Okay, so streaming telemetry enables collection of system operational data. Okay, we kind of went through this. Need, benefits, traffic optimization, preventive troubleshooting, sandbox information, where you, there is also Ubuntu system, but we'll see, we may actually need it. There is 10, 10, ten, 10, 20, 25, snapshot, power on. So I guess it will be SSH or maybe VNC. Oh, there's SSH password used for guacamole connection, and so it's telemetry Cisco 1234. Let me also bring up my PyCharm here. So directory will have we have telemetry now, and well, I think I can for now just create a file which will say like credentials txt. So SSH, so I need Ubuntu which is 10, 10, 20, 25, and it will be telemetry Cisco 1234. Okay, I think those are just SSH credentials. So SSH 10, 10, 20, 25. Yeah, it would be good to specify the user. Yeah, so I am on Ubuntu box. What are credentials for CSR? We need that too. You can SSH like this. And this one, it's admin Cisco 1234 exclamation mark. Okay, so let me also put it on the file as well. So CSR is 10 10 20 30, and it should be admin Cisco 1234. Okay, we will actually let's also check this out. So we'll say SSH admin at 10 10 20 30. Yes, and password. Okay, and let's also see what is the version. So this one is running 16.8.1. Wow, it's pretty recent. Okay, so we have our CSR here. We do have our connection to Ubuntu. Okay, lab architecture, developer resource, credentials. Oh, all of this stuff was here. Okay, I don't need Nexus and ISXR for now. Okay, so I think, yeah, we have designed a tutorial. If we will learn how to configure streaming telemetry for IOS-XE, as well as set up collectors, transform load the data into time series database, and visualize it using Grafana. Okay, so here they are not using elk stacks, they're using Grafana, which is, I guess, alternative to Kibana. Again, I just heard about these products, but I have never used them before. I didn't have any. So okay, instructions are located here. Once you master it, you could try doing that on an XOS or IOS-XR. We just need IOS-XE for today. And yeah, so okay, here is the lab. This tutorial you will learn environment. Okay, running on Ubuntu servers are NETCONF client and pipeline consumers, Kafka message bus, Apache Spark with Jupyter, transform the data into time series database format. Okay, OpenTSDB. I have used Apache Spark before for data analysis, but I'm not yet sure what exactly they are doing with Apache Spark here. OpenTSDB time series database, I have never heard about it before in my life, and Grafana for visualization. And in this case, we have a Sandbox using ietf Python NetConf client. We are sending the data to Kafka, which sends the data to Spark, which is converts the data and stores it in this time series database. And Grafana, I guess, takes this OpenTSDB as a source and visualizes the data. Okay, so you SSH into Ubuntu server, you download the latest code for this project. Okay. So telemetry stacks. Okay. Git pull starts the Docker stacks from the directory using Docker Compose. Okay, I think this is a good point for us to. Well, I don't like just running stuff without understanding what exactly I'm doing. So, okay, they are referring to. Oh wow, they are referring to two compose files at the same time. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go back here, I will take those files, I will copy paste them to my local machine. And the reason I am copy pasting it instead of doing git clone is I would like to have them like as a reference, and we may change them as we go. So this is docker compose YAML. Okay, so let's look here. So we have Zookeeper, Kafka, and Grafana. So there is Zookeeper on 2181, there is Kafka on 1992 port, and so Kafka connects to Zookeeper, and there is Grafana, which is on port 3000. And I'm actually not sure what Zookeeper does. So many new stuff, so let me go ahead and check that out. So Zookeeper, an effort to maintain open source server which enables highly reliable distributed coordination. Centralized server for maintaining configuration information, naming, providing distributed synchronization, providing group services. All these kind of services are used in some form or another by distributed applications. Each time they're implemented, there is a lot of work that goes into fixing the bugs and race conditions that are inevitable. Because of the difficulty, initially use blah, blah, blah. Actually, I mean, I understand that this is for synchronization of services, but for now I don't yet understand what exactly we need to synchronize and why. So for me this is kind of a question mark for now. Okay, so Kafka I understand a little bit, but also I have never used it before in my life. The idea behind Kafka is that it can get the data from some source, and then you set up other consumers of this data, which could be like multiple systems. So one thing pushes the data on the Kafka, and other systems can consume this data. Read and write streams of data like messaging system, write scalable stream processing application for reaction. Okay, so what they also allow you to do here is, besides consumers like static consumers, which kind of like visualize the data, you may also set up scripts or like programs that will be taking this data and process it and do something with this. Store streams of data safely in distributed, replicated, fault tolerant cluster. Okay, fair enough. Let me also see if there are any comments in the chat. Maybe I missed something. OpenTSDB, I saw that recently. Basically, I've seen it used for bandwidth utilization, so we can store usage over time and access the data very fast. This combination of MySQL and Apache Hadoop. Okay. Okay, cool. So we have these three things. I can understand these two. I have some idea about Zookeeper now, but I'm not sure what exactly we are synchronizing. That's fair, we'll see later. But I also see that the Kafka here is actually connecting to the Zookeeper. And also another interesting piece is that you can see that Kafka is getting the access to the Docker daemon. So it means that from the Kafka container you can actually spin up new containers. This is actually pretty interesting. Also not sure why exactly, but we'll see. Okay, and then there was another file. There there was the file from the OpenTSDB and Jupyter's with Spark. Okay, so I'm not sure why they're not in one, but whatever. So let's go ahead and so this is what Docker compose OpenTSDB.yaml. Yeah. Okay. So OpenTSDB image port on 4242, and there is Jupyter Spark. So this just will run Jupyter with Spark pre-installed, and this will mount the OpenTSDB. Oh wow. Okay, there is one thing that bothers me a lot here. So this OpenTSDB doesn't have, I mean, I understand this is a database, but it doesn't mount any volume here. It doesn't mount any volume, so this data will be inside of the container. But then here we are actually creating a volume here. Well, we are mounting a volume to this folder. This bothers me, I must tell you. I'm not yet sure like what is stored in this database. I would expect that they have a volume here which is mounted somewhere else, but it's not what we see right now. Praveen, thank you for following. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so this is a question mark for me now, but it's fine. Let's continue. Okay, so they tell you, okay, you can stop, you can start everything with Docker Compose with -d for it to be a daemon. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, and we will also do some notes here as well. So here, oh, by the way, you know what? There was this folder, OpenTSDB, which I'm... Oh, okay. I see now. So this folder, OpenTSDB, the only thing it contains are the Jupyter notebooks in the first place. So, funny. Okay. So this folder doesn't contain the database. This folder already contains notebooks. So that's why we are mounting that. It's just the name is confusing. This should be named like those are notebooks or something. Okay, so let's go ahead and run stuff. I didn't copy this. Okay, Docker Compose F, Docker Compose YAML, and Docker Compose Open TSDB up -d. Okay. Okay, so we will do Docker PS as well. Okay, so let's bring our text editor here. Let's say this will be notes. So we have what? We have Grafana port, so 3000 TCP. We have Zookeeper, which exposes TCP 2181 TCP. We have the Jupyter, which exposes port 88888 TCP, and Kafka which exposes the port. Blue Cavalry 2, thank you very much for following. Okay, so Kafka is exposing the port 9092 TCP, and well, OpenTSDB we are mapping the port 4242 TCP. Okay, makes sense. So let's continue. SSH into OSXR, configure NetConf yank and NetConf. Okay, so we go ahead to our device. Okay, and they say configure netconf. Okay, it's not configured, so we'll go ahead and say netconf yank. Then we will have to wait until that is up and running. So this will be show platform software is yank management process. Wow, I still remember commands like this. Okay, we will have to wait until netconf SSHT is up and running. Okay, everything is up and running. Now they say turn on consumer and then direct the data to our Kafka broker to be buffered until we are able to consume it into the database. Verify we are able to stream the data by printing it to standard output. If it doesn't immediately work, wait a couple more seconds. They're using here pipams. Okay, so verify we are able to stream the data by printing it to the std out. If it doesn't immediately work, wait a couple more seconds. Okay, so they have two scripts here, print telemetry and the Kafka telemetry. So one of them will just output the data on the screen and another one will send it to Kafka. So okay, yeah, this is good. So we say we should go to consumers XE and there is pip file log, okay, pip shell. Okay, I'm going to take these two scripts and also copy paste them to my machine. So wow, that's a big script. Well, probably I should have done it from, I should have just went here and take it from here. Okay, so by the way, let's see dependencies. So dependencies here is Kafka Python, LXML and JXML lease. Wow, where is the NC client though? We are not using NC client? That's very weird. Okay, whatever. So well, we are using here NC client, but it's not in pip file. Okay, whatever. So let's take this script and also copy paste it. So this will be debug UI. And yeah, so let's take, oh, okay, so I also will need to create the virtual environment let me do that. Sorry, folks. It's not like it's needed because we are running this code remotely, but I want to, before running the code, I would kind of like glance through it and understand what are we doing here. So, okay, what I'm doing. I need to open another session here. And well, I should be able to do source. Well, I can just do venv and then pip freeze grab the NC client. Okay, I have NC client, so we will do pip install Kafka Python and pip install XML and also this. So they also had pip file, this one. Okay, so pip install this thing. I don't know what it does. Actually, let me go ahead and check. A Python module for converting XML to intelligent Python data structure and converting Python data structure to LXML. Okay, so it's kind of like Dicto-XML. This actually can be useful for one of my other projects. This last commit was 3 years ago, not very reassuring, I must tell you. So many tabs that I am confused. I think I don't remember which one I copied actually, so yeah, I think I copied this one, and there is also Kafka Telemetry, which is this. So we will go ahead and copy this too. And send to Kafka UI. Subscribe. Send. Well, I can just say subscribe UI. Should be fine. Yeah. Okay. So it's, yeah, let's go ahead, let's go through this script. So the entry point is here, is creating the object here, and then they, oh, I need to do this. So they are having XPath for the interface statistics, and then there is a function called single sub, which says applies this XPath with period 5k of something. I think on the demo it was saying that this is going to be either 50 seconds or 5 seconds, I don't remember. I'm not sure it's actually in milliseconds. So okay, let's walk through what this code does. So there is a class, you create like username, password, blah blah blah. Okay, so delete after logging. It has these two functions, connect and Kafka connect. So let's see on connect function. So connect is doing NC client connection and saving it, and Kafka connect is saying the producer will be on this port, and there will be a function which takes the serializer for this is going to be a function that takes data in converts it to JSON. Okay, what about callbacks though? Where those are used? Okay, there is also delete after, but that doesn't mean anything. So, okay, we create two connections. One connection is to the is NETCONF connection to the device, and another connection is to Kafka. That's pretty much it. So then we say single sub. We go into this function. We are creating a signal singInt with singInt handler. Okay, so when we are done, we are closing the connection using callbacks. We should have done it with the session manager, but whatever. Then we are establishing sub and saying wait for. Okay, so establish sub says self-man establish subscription. Okay, so for NC client there is a function establish subscription where you say callback, errorback, XPath period and dampening period, subscription result. Okay, so what this does is saying, okay, I am establishing subscription to this XPath resource with this period. Whenever I get the data back, execute this callback. If there is an error, execute the callback called errorback. So this one, errorback, doesn't do anything. So callback, this one prints something to the screen. It says callback event time, when that event happened, subscription ID, type and date. Okay, so what this does is basically saying whenever I receive a data through this NetConf session, I'm going to print some of this data to the screen, and this is the only thing callback does. So for production, I guess this callback is replaced with the Kafka. So basically in Kafka case, you would say, okay, whenever I receive the data, apply this function callback, which will send this data to Kafka. Okay, pretty straightforward, I guess. And there is this function wait for, which I would like also to see. It says wait for if self delete after time sleep, you delete subscription. Okay, I am not sure here. I'm not sure when. It seems like it will be done when we have this delete after flag, which I'm not sure we set it up anywhere except here. Yeah, I don't know this case. Okay, that's fine. I think we will actually be stuck in the established sub function, and this is going to be I think we will be on this function and not here, but I could be wrong. Okay, whatever. So let's go ahead and run it. Also, let me see if there are any comments in the chat. So basically, so if you only want to sub for a while, cool. Yeah. Okay, I think we are almost ready. So, what do they say? Okay, Python print telemetry. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we will say Python print telemetry. So I expect we will start seeing the data coming back on the console. So let's see. So okay, first we get like a direct response to the subscription. Quentin, thank you very much for hosting. So we received that. Okay, this is our subscription ID. But then later we actually start getting the data. Like on Gigabit Ethernet 1, there is this amount of packets. So you actually start receiving XML. Okay, now, and this happened when? This happened at 7:09:55 seconds. So then after 50 seconds, so you get the next data. Nice. So let's wait a little bit more and we should see even more data. Oh, okay, we actually saw it here. So at 11 minutes 35 seconds, we see yet another snapshot. So if we copy all of this, and we will say new scratch file, plain text. I should have selected this is XML though. So we see that at first timestamp we get on the Gigabit 1, we see this. Let's copy these two. Well, actually, let's copy this 4. So we will also add another scratch file. So then at the next timestamp, on the Gigabit 1, we see this. And you see that this number is growing. This number of incoming and outgoing packets is growing. And basically on this session, you start receiving all of these data. And probably until I press like Control-C, and Control-C just interrupts this. And we are good. Okay, fair enough. So yes, this actually was more straightforward, much more straightforward than I expected it to be. I didn't know that NC Client provides this function called what is this function? This function called establish subscription, which accepts callback. So yeah, basically this does everything for you. You open a connection, you do this function saying, okay, I would like to receive the data under this XPath. Okay, and this XPath in our case is interface state, in IF interface, and interface statistics. So we do that. And our callback is this function, which just prints this data on the screen. And we are yeah, we are just waiting for the things to come. Okay, yes, this is pretty straightforward. Now there are two pieces that I want to do. So one of them is I'm going to rerun the script first, and I would like to see some outputs on the IOS-XE device live. Okay, so we start getting this data. Now let me go to CSR. So this will be what, Cisco 1234 exclamation mark. So we are on this device, and then there is show telemetry something. Show telemetry subscriptions, ietf subscription all. Okay, so, and you get this. Maybe there are more details. Detail. Nice. Okay, so show telemetry, ietf subscription, the ID of subscription, and detail. And you see it says, okay, this is going to be yank push, and this is XPath that you specified. So I'm going to, every 50 seconds, I'm going to send you the data from the yank model. This, I'm going to send this to you. Okay, good. So now I want to kind of modify this a little bit. So let's say I would like to get the data only about one specific interface, not about everything. Okay, so let's be more granular. And then the next step would be, oh, let me see what other models I can use to pull this data. So what do we need? We need to see the data here from Scratch file. Say interface statistic. Okay, so I have to specify it in such a way where I select the name of the interface here, and my XPath skills are not up to date. So, no, not this one. Yeah, I think this one. So, let's try. We will want to change the script a little bit. So if I remember correctly, this is damn it. I think it's like this. I need some other reference. I don't remember 100%. Oh, I actually need to have the yeah, I think this is correct. And I also don't need dot. So this should be fine. Okay. So I think this should work, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's go ahead and run this. So Python print telemetry py. I think it actually worked. Look at this. So now I receive the data only about gigabit Ethernet 1. I don't see anything else. So let's wait for another tick. So we see that it's indeed correct. I should have specified the more frequent pull instead of 50 seconds. I mean, 50 seconds is just too long. So, okay, here we go. Now you see that here we got another tick 50 seconds later with statistics only for gigabit Ethernet 1 using that XPath filter. Nice. That's pretty awesome, I must tell you. So I thought this stream will be complete disaster with me trying to find information from a lot of different places and, you know, nothing is working, but apparently it actually not so bad. Not so bad, folks. Okay, so now the next steps that I would like to see, I would like to subscribe to some other thing. Let's say what we may have. Well, we may have like memory statistics, but I'm curious about, let's say, access list counters. We would need to find the data. So, okay, I will need to I need to go to projects Forex, I guess, for public no others, okay, and yank vendor XE, vendor Cisco IOS-XE 16.8.1, because this is the version that we have on that box. And yeah, we will have to find here the access list statistics, and additionally show access lists. Are there any? No. Show IP interface brief. Okay, so we are going to create an access list with permit IP any and try to get the counters for that. Permit everything. So permit IP any, and yeah, and we will go to gigabit 1. We will say IP access list, IP access group, permit everything. Okay, so since we are SSH connected on the same interface, we should be able to see updated counters every so often. I mean, I think counters on access list are like once per 30 seconds or so. Okay, cool. So now we have to find the model for for access list counters. So there is one openconfig one. Somewhere. Well, I don't see it here actually. Oh, openconfig ACL. Actually, you know what? Let's do openconfig. I see no reason why we shouldn't. So this will be yank f3 openconfig ACL. Oh, yeah, user local lib yank. Oh, user local bin, sorry. F3. I should have fixed this a long time ago. Okay. So, well, just ACL sets. Well, ACL sets. But there's one additional piece. Hold on. So it's ACL and ACL sets. Yeah, a couple of things that are bothering me here. So this if this seems like a namespace, but I don't see that we are specifying this space anywhere. So I'm not sure actually how to specify the openconfig. Let me see subscribe HPIS operator. How do we get this? Process CPU IOS-XE operator. Like, how do we get this prefix? I mean, this is a namespace, but I don't see this namespace. I don't see this namespace specified manually. So it seems like this is what device responds with. Damn. Okay, I have an idea, but okay, Cisco IOS-XE Pro prefix, okay. So yeah. Let's see ietf interfaces. Okay, yeah, so this is prefix which we may need. So if I say openconfig ACL yang prefix, okay. So okay, this is better. Here, let me also do this. Kind of like that I have some artifact. So the prefix there was this. The container is so the yank f3 openconfig ACL yank. So it's ACL and ACL sets. So this should be like this. I think this should work. And we'll say 30 seconds. So this and yeah. So let's go ahead on our machine here and say, oh, it's still pulling the data. So vim print telemetry. Let's go to the bottom. Okay, I think we can leave this, and here we will say 30 seconds. So I'm not sure if we need OC minus ACL prefix here, but I think it should work, but I could be wrong. So let's do Python print telemetry. And here we go. Look at this. This is beautiful. So let me copy this data to like my Scratch file here. I will just put it to the bottom here. So ACL set permit everything. It's our openconfig model. ACL entries, sequence number 10, and we see match packets 128. So let me go ahead and do that, and here we go, 156. Perfect. So let's also, since we already have this data, let's also be very specific on what exactly we want to pull. So let's say I want to be even more specific, where I say I would like to select only this access list. So the name is going to be this, and I will get only state. Oh no, not state. I'm going to get ACL entries. And well, I think I can leave it like this. So like this. So I only get the data for the specific access list. So let's go ahead and do that, and I will stop this, and I will say vim print telemetry, and we'll replace this. Oh, okay. So if we Python print telemetry now. Oh, this didn't work out so well, did it? I broke things. Well, it's possible that it didn't like this. Well, hold on. Oh, I see the problem now. Yeah, it should be ACL set like this, and I did it incorrectly. ACL set, then we specify the name and ACL entries. Okay, yeah, so this should be fine. It should be fine. Okay. No, it still didn't work. So yeah, I did it incorrectly somewhere. Let me investigate this model a little bit more. So ACL set, oh, name and type. Holy shit. So I actually have to provide those with comma, I think. If it's double, yeah, I think it should be comma. So name, comma, type. So it should be XPath with multiple child conditions. Or let's say NC client XPath for a list. Yeah, it should be for a list. Okay, I think this will work, but I have no guarantees. Okay. Yeah. No. Down. So I get empty data now. That's not good. Mentor Z, thank you very much for kind words. I really appreciate support from the community I get on this. Why is this not working? I thought I did everything correctly, but it's not. I also see there are some problems with the stream, and it seems that it seems to be an actually Twitch problem, because on my control panel I see 0 drop frames, but my stream lagged for a second. This is supposed to work, but it doesn't. Okay, I will try a couple more things, but you know, if it's not working, then it's fine. I mean, I'm not too concerned about these filters. You would probably want to get more data than just, you know, very specific interface. But the point is that you have an ability to be more specific if you want to. Yeah, so this doesn't work. Damn. Oh. It is also possible that I just need that prefix. NETCONF XPath, multiple select list item. Nope. Yeah, I would be curious to know, Quentin, what you think about the book, especially considering that part of it is written by my teammate Jason Gooley. I haven't read it myself yet, but I should. I definitely should, to be aware of what is in the book. I can't find how I should do this filter. It's bothering me. You know, folks, I don't feel like I want to waste even more time on this today. Before jumping to the next thing, I would like just to check one notation. So I am going to comment this part. I mean, we got it working without filters, so how to exactly do this filtering, I don't know. So I would like to check if I change to double quotation marks, this will still be working. So if it does, then yeah, I just want to make sure that this part is fine. And of course, it would be great if I could spell name correctly. So now if I do Python print telemetry, okay, yeah, this is working. So it's not double quotation thing. It seems something with my XPath filter is incorrect. V4R147 suggests a way to do that. Okay, I will do that like you suggest, but I actually don't think it's valid, since you have to, or maybe you are actually correct. I don't know. So suggestion is to do like this. Maybe you are actually correct, since selector for the list is whatever the keys are. It could work, but let's see. Oh, and of course I should uncomment that. Damn. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, this bothers me. I don't see anything. Oh, okay. So yeah, I know what's going on right now. So right now we are actually seeing the error callback. So if so we are hitting this function here. So let's do print error occurred. So nope, it's not that. And let's also go ahead and log into the device and see what it says. Show telemetry ietf subscription, all detail. Nothing. Okay, so we don't actually see this subscription on the device. Okay, so yeah. Probably it is somewhere in the okay, this last thing, and okay, this worked without filters. This part worked fine. Okay, I still don't know how to do this Xbox filter where this one and this one, those are two keys. With one key, with gigabit Ethernet one, we did it. It was just fine, but with two keys, I actually don't know. Okay. So yeah, so now you see here 5508, and 30 seconds later you should see a new number. Okay, here it is, 534. Okay, this works. So basically, for any piece of data which is statistics, you should be able to get this data periodically. You know, I actually have one thing that I will probably regret, but I want to try it anyway. So what if we specify a filter for the actual config? You know what? Show vref. And yeah, so let's go ahead and V4 I had the same thing before with two square brackets, and I received empty data as a result, so it didn't work out for me. Maybe I did some spelling error, so I don't know, could be. Okay, so here is what I want to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up telemetry for the config data. I don't know how device will respond to that. I'm not sure it will be very happy. But you know, we are just messing around with this, so it should be fine. So I need to check my prefix for the okay, prefix iOS. Okay, fair enough. So let's try doing that. So right now we will have XPath for iOS native. And let me do this. Let me yank help. Nope. Nope. Not this one. I think this one. Or this one. Yeah, I am looking for XML output formats. There is one sample XML skeleton. So if I say user local being payank f this, and I will say Cisco IOS-XE native, and I will save this to native XML. Okay, and I will say more native XML. Okay, so data native. I'm looking for VRF. I think it's okay, it's not under the main. Wait, hold on. No. Parser service. Nope. Host enable archive. Actually, by the way, folks, I discovered this sample XML skeleton recently. I have never seen it being used in other places, so like in some tutorials, but I think it's the best way to explore model now. So you actually get an XML which you can almost copy paste, and it will be part of your payload when you're trying to do NETCONF request. So this, okay, VRF define, okay, fine. So this should be this. Okay, and yeah, so let's go ahead and do this, and it will be actually funny because what this means is that you would be able to, using telemetry, you can say, oh, send config of the device every 10 minutes to this collector. This is another interesting use case that I wasn't thinking about before. So you could do like divs or something based on the modeled yank config. Pretty cool, I think. I still have to kind of like think through the all use cases for this. but it looks interesting if this works. So you'll have to say vim print telemetry. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and run this now. So we will say Python print. I'm pretty sure this will work. Okay, so every 30 seconds we are getting the config data now. So let's go ahead to our CSR and say conft vref definition new address family before, and that's all. Okay, so well, depending how fast the database synchronizes, I would expect to see the new. Perfect. So now I didn't touch, well, I went to the device and configured new VRF, but as part of this session I already received the new config. That's pretty cool. So you would set up something like, I don't know, let's do this every 10 minutes or 5 minutes or something like this, and you would write a program which would take whatever was previously, whatever is new, and would save the diff between two XML configs. Damn. Okay, I really have to think through this in my head. But I think I do have some potential use cases where I would need to do this to be able to get the current config of the device every so often. Yeah. Cool. So, okay, so with streaming telemetry, it's not necessarily you need to set up the filter for your counters for read-only data, but you can also do it on read-write data, like config itself. Interesting. I don't think this model supports on change instead of periodic, but even periodic in this case is good. I actually don't know where to find the list for the models that support on change notifications. I will have to you know, talk to someone who actually is doing development of this feature. But that's pretty awesome. So we were able to see already how to pull up these counters for interface, for access list, how to specify counters for specific interface with XPath filter. Now we just saw how we can get the config every so often periodically, again as part of the Young model. I am satisfied with the progress we are making today. I thought it was going to be a disaster, folks. So I'm happy to see that it's not a disaster. Okay, so let's move forward. We still have like, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes more. We were just printing the data on the console. Where is this? So, and then they say, okay, this is printing the data. Now let's run this script Kafka telemetry in the background with the log, and yeah. So before we will run this, let's actually look on that code and see what is different. I think there is only one thing that is different, but I would just like to clarify. Okay, so first of all, they have a couple of XPath filter for CPU usage, for interface state, and for BGP state data. Okay, now I have to format this. And then they use multi-sub function. Let's look on multi-sub function. Some multi-sub function multi-sub function. Basically, oh, okay, so it for every item in XPath list, it's setting up subscription, but in established sub there is also another difference, is that the callback that we are running is not it's not this which we're just printing, but it's Kafka callback, which takes the data, it does JSON loads. Oh, it does this. It does GXML is parse, so it converts this to Python. It does. Wait, why so hard? Oh, okay. So yeah, so this is dictionary now. Now they take this and convert it to string. What? This is weird. Do JSON load and JSON dump. What? Okay. And so what? Let me think this through. JSON dumps will take the dictionary and print it as a JSON string, and JSON loads will take a string and convert it to Python dictionary. This makes absolutely zero sense to me, but whatever. Yeah, okay, and then we say self-producer send with the identifier Telemetry-XE. We will send the data under data notification. Okay. Okay. Let me think. Okay, I don't know yet. Okay. This is, by the way, is incorrect. It should be self-logging. To run this. Okay, let's go ahead and run this. So they say run this. Oh, there is another piece that I am interested in. How Kafka is how we have this key. I'm sorry for scrolling all the time, but we have this key Telemetry-XE. I'm thinking what does it mean? I guess it's kind of like message identifier. And does Kafka do something with this? No, I don't think so. Oh, hold on, there is Kafka Docker, which we are building from Kafka Docker. Yeah, okay, so I will have to there is no Docker file. Wait, what? How this is running if we don't have Docker file? Okay, I am confused. Telemetry starts Kafka. Start Kafka SH. Well, what is going on here? Why this directory is empty? I don't understand. I'm so confused. How does this work? How does this Kafka container gets created if we have build dot Kafka docker? So the context is that folder, but I don't see anything there. I am, folks, very confused. And it's GitHub, well, it is here, but I can't see that. Okay. Now we have this folder, but I don't understand how Docker Docker understands submodule. I'm thinking that right now what I should do is restart the Docker Compose. Okay, now the Kafka container is being rebuilt. So, okay, now it's good. I think I know what happened is even though the directory was empty, but we already had this container image telemetry stacks Kafka build. So we were reusing that, we were not recreating it, so it didn't really matter what the context is because an image with this name already existed. So if I say docker docker images, yeah, so this one telemetry stacks Kafka is here. So yeah, this is what was happening. We already had the container built, so we don't really care about the content of that folder. So now actually it's different Kafka container, so it's possible that everything will break, but that's fine. Let me also see if there are comments in the chat. Oh, there were comments in the chat, and I'm sorry, I like completely missed that. You were trying to help me so much. Thank you, and I'm sorry for not looking at all. Git some module init, git some module update is git some module when you clone the repo, git clone recursive. You forgot to need it. Yeah, thank you. Sorry for not paying attention. Okay, so all our containers are up and running. Let's just double check. Jupyter, Kafka, OpenTSDB, Zookeeper, Grafana. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with our... Damn, I have so many tabs open. This. There is one syntax error in the script which bothers me. Well, I'm not sure if it's syntax or not syntax error, but it's definitely an error. So if I say vim Kafka telemetry, this logging is incorrect because it's not callable. But I guess because the verbose by default is false, we never run this in the first place. But I will fix it anyway. Okay. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so we should be able to see now data going through Kafka. Okay, I don't think this is a problem. Get logger. Yeah, those are NC client stuff. Loggers, so nah. Whatever. We should be able to see the data in the Kafka. Navigate to here. Okay, let's go. click on the folder telemetry and click on the file. Password is Cisco 1234. Okay. Okay, telemetry, Kafka OTSDB XE. Okay. Wow, it's slow. Okay. So, okay, this is Apache Spark script. Streaming context, blah blah blah. There's some transform function which tries to deal with the data. I think it seems to be transforming the data. Time converter, BGP load, CPU load, interface load, and TSDB put. And we take the data, we go to our DB, and we just using REST API to put the data there. Then Kafka RDD, for each RDD we say parallelize transform and SSC start. What is SSC? Okay, streaming context. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. And they say do not click on SSC stop. That's pretty big script. I mean, it would take time to understand how to do all this. Okay, so yeah, it's running, and then here. Okay, so it started. There is no print nor anything. Then they say go ahead and to open is OpenTSDB admin. Okay, and meanwhile we'll say we had nodes. So okay, 3K is the Grafana. Okay, so on this step, on this Kafka blah blah blah, so what we are doing is taking the data from Kafka, using here there are Kafka params and stuff like that. We do transform of the data, so we take the data, process it, load it, change key value pairs, whatever, and then we put this data to the TSDB. In the Grafana, we are going to add the data source for OpenTSDB. So click on add data source, name OTSDB. Let's make sure that we have the same case. Okay, OpenTSDB 42 type and access, click save and test. The data source is working. Click on the plus icon on the left toolbar and create a dashboard. Okay, and add the graph. Click plus, no, not here. Where is it? Here on the left toolbar. Oh no, click on the panel and select edit, change metric to inactats. Oh wow, it actually auto-populates stuff based on the data from OpenTSDB. Pretty awesome, I must tell you. So metric to inactats and aggregator to last. I have never used Grafana before. And check the rate checkbox. Okay. And that's all, right? Change, click refresh. Well, I think I should save this. Well, no. I think what I should just click refresh icon on the top right of the box. Refresh on the top right of the box. Oh, here. Well, this is 0. What about our script? Let me do that. Let me say if we have PS, if it have it in PS. Okay, the script is still running. But I don't see any data here. And then there is conclusion. Haha. Damn. I will try SSHing to the box. Maybe there are no new packets or something, so the inoctats is not growing. So yeah, this is not cool. Okay. I would also check the data in the OpenTSDB. So the port is 42. I am not sure it will work this way. I don't think I can just go ahead and check the data manually. So it's 10, 10, 20, 25 and on the port. Okay, there is some web interface here. Well, I see some data is being put here. Let me see this. Let me go to this thing and Yeah, so if I want to do get, I need to specify queries here, and I actually don't know how to do that. Yeah, sorry folks, I do not know what's going on, and it will take actually, I think, significant amount of time to understand if the data is there, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, so I think we will actually wrap up for today. I already feel I'm kind of exhausted. We didn't get this to work, but that's fine. So yeah, if you folks have any questions in the chat before we wrap, well, before we finish with the stream, please do let me know. Otherwise, I will do a wrap up. So on today's stream, we started looking at streaming telemetry, what it is, why would you want to use this, and we had a look on dial-in telemetry on IOS-XE. We were using DevNet Sandbox Lab, which is available for free, so if you would like to do stuff similar that I did on the stream, nothing should be stopping you. You should go ahead and reserve the sandbox and go through the same lab as I did. We found a way we saw that we get the data from the box based on our subscription. So we were doing subscription for interface statistics. We saw a way how you could specify a specific interface to get statistics only for that. We did access list counter statistics using openconfig model. And as the last piece, we also saw how we can get the config data periodically from the device, also using subscription. We haven't seen how we can do on-change a data pool. I actually don't know how to find which models support on-change data data subscription. I don't know how to verify that, but if I do, I will probably check that out, so that instead of some frequency, we actually say, okay, I would like to see this data only when it changes. This would be actually pretty interesting too. So we were able to get this data using the NC client library, and there's function for ietf subscription. We were doing that, and as a result, we were just printing this data on the screen. Now, the more real use case, you don't want to just see this data in XML format on your screen where you run your script. Ideally, you would want to use these other tools which will allow you to store the data and as well as consume the data. Well, consume the data, store the data, and convert it to some graphs. So this is where we were using Kafka and Grafana and OpenTSDB. So Kafka is just a message bus which allows you to get the data from producers and to be able for consumers to get this data from Kafka. It's just a message bus. The Grafana is visualization system, which we are looking on my screen right now. And OpenTSDB is a database which allows you to store time series data. Since usually, you don't really store this kind of data in SQL, you would need some specific database to store this time series data. And OpenTSDB was used for that. We didn't look on Elk Stack, which is alternative to Grafana, I guess. And we actually didn't get to work Grafana the way it's supposed to work. We don't see here a graph is changing data, so I don't know how to do that. I tried following the instructions, but it didn't work. So yeah, that's actually all for my stream today. And yeah, I don't see any questions in the chat. So yeah, let's wrap up. Thank you very much everyone for joining in today. Thank you everyone who's supporting me and sending the feedback, as well as everyone who is watching this recordings on YouTube. I really appreciate all of your support and all of your ideas. Oh, there is last question in the chat before we close the stream. Can you commit the code from today's stream? I think I could, but honestly it doesn't really make a lot of sense since it's already available on GitHub. I mean, everything that we did today is available on Cisco IE Telemetry stacks here on this repo, where there are instructions and all code is there. So I mean, I could commit my code, but it doesn't really make sense since it's almost 100% the same. So yeah, you can find it here. I do hope it was useful for you. Again, thank you everyone, and I wish you an easy working week, and I will see you probably in 3 weeks from now. And yeah, until next time, bye everyone.